year that we get really excited about the coming fishing season. Fly fishing, to be specific. We've got the trout opener coming up in Missouri pretty soon, and a lot of our favorite streams are going to start inviting us with some warmer days and a lot of opportunities to get out and explore trout fishing from the Ozarks and all across the country. No organization out there does more for cold water fisheries and for trout fishermen than Trout Unlimited. All four of us on this podcast today are Trout Unlimited members and have been involved in the Mid-Missouri Trout Unlimited chapter. And we want to promote the banquet that's coming up soon, talk some fishing, and just have a good conversation about conservation and all things fishing. I'm Brandon Butler.
I'm Nathan Shags McLeod.
I'm Curt Morgret.
And I'm Doug Grove.
Welcome to the Drifted Outdoors podcast. It's going to be nice just to sit back and talk some fishing, man. Not going to get any arguments, no death threats online. This is going to be fun to get back to our roots.
Don't underestimate fishermen.
It's early. It's early.
Oh, man, you guys probably don't know what's been going on. So hopefully a lot of people just clicked off the podcast. We probably have our largest number of 45-second listeners ever because we have been in the firestorm of chronic wasting disease. So I'm going to warn you guys, if you're fans of the Department of Conservation, you might want to just keep that to yourselves for a little while.
I'm just so glad we did that podcast. Then I left for 10 days for my honeymoon and just watched occasionally between like Mai Tais and snorkeling and sitting in volcanic ash mud baths. I'd pull out my phone and just like, holy smokes, we are in it right now in the comments section. But I would just really quickly, Brandon, thank you for all you've been doing on there too. And for the random people that have been coming to our defense, and even some of the messages we've been getting privately, it does mean a lot. And dude, we're just here trying to have a good time. We love Missouri. We love Missouri outdoors. And I think we're very lucky in what we have in not only our state parks, but our Department of Conservation. And we're going to talk a lot about the great thing they do with trout fishing here in Missouri.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you and Savannah had a beautiful honeymoon. You guys deserved it. The photos were incredible. I did ask you about expat opportunities down there earlier today. But
when we were down there, I kept asking everyone's like, do you hire Americans? Like, I'll wash dishes just to see this view every single morning, because St. Lucia is a beautiful, beautiful island, man. That was a pretty incredible trip.
But to reiterate what you said, a lot of people did come out on both sides of that issue. I would say we got as many private messages from people that are just like, I'm not wading in there, but thank you for what you're doing, standing up for science, standing up for the department. That gives us so much. And we're so excited to talk about fishing today, which really is the first love of both of us. I've been deer hunting for, almost 35 years now, and I've been fishing for at least 40. So, trout fishing is near and dear to my heart, as it is to the three of you. And I guess to begin with, thank you, Doug and Curt. You guys have been longtime leaders of our local Trout Unlimited chapter. People probably don't realize how many conservation volunteers there are out there across our great country. The work you guys have done for many years to benefit people who will never know what you did. It takes us back to that old saying that a society grows great when men plant trees whose shade they shall never know. And you guys have been planting those trees metaphorically along the cold water fisheries of our state for a long time. And we really appreciate it. So we're happy to have you on and help you promote TU and the excitement of the upcoming banquet.
Thank you.
And Curt, you're a little dark in there, so you might want to lean forward. You kind of got that Emperor from the Return of the Jedi going on, but
you like a little mystery.
So how did you guys get into Trout Unlimited? Either one of you started off.
I'll tell you, I went to, this was back in the 90s, the early 90s. I just moved to Columbia, back to Columbia. I graduated from school here, and I had a need to join a civic organization. I was invited to the Optimist Club, and while I was sitting there, Spencer Turner got up and introduced a guest, and I'm going, I've been wanting to meet Spencer Turner for 20 years, so I'm going to join this. So I ended up joining, and Spencer invited me to Trout Unlimited, and I went to a few meetings, and I was at a banquet, and Dave Murphy, Dave was director of CFM before you were, Brandon,
Yeah.
announced that the president needed to retire from his position for health reasons. And I went up and very quietly told Dave that if they needed some help with something, I'd be glad to help out, thinking that I'd backfill some position. And a week later, Spencer called me and said, "Congratulations, El Presidente." And I became president of Mid-Missouri Trout Unlimited after attending about 3 meetings.
Well, Dave's an organizer, no doubt about it. What a amazing legacy and conservation he has here in Missouri, moving on from CFM to become a commissioner, and just a phenomenal legacy in conservation, and a guy that we've tried to get on the podcast. Timing hasn't worked out, but definitely a future guest.
And every time we see him, he always says he wants to be on there. It's always just scheduling issues. He's out gallivanting all across the world doing exciting things.
Well, now that we've gone to
from Sweden.
Yeah, we could do one from Sweden now with the technology we're using. So that'd be pretty cool. How about you, Doug?
So I'm a relatively recent fly fisher. I've only been fly fishing for 15 years. I went on a retreat to the Arkansas River in Colorado and got a guide. His name is Preston. He's from our St. Louis chapter originally, I believe, and he suggested I join Trout Unlimited. Of course, I didn't know much about fly fishing. I'd only been once, so I joined, and there's lots of opportunities to get involved, and so I'm excited to be involved.
Yeah, I think it surprises a lot of people when Midwesterners talk about fly fishing. Growing up where I grew up in Northwest Indiana, everyone in my family fished. No one fly fished. And then this movie came out. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called River Runs Through It. I watched that movie, and it literally changed the course of my life. After graduating from Purdue, I moved to Colorado because I wanted to fly fish. I only made it about 9 months in Colorado, and then I was in Montana for about 4 years, fly fishing those rivers that were in the movie. And every other piece of water I could get on. You know, fly fishing to me, it's a lot like the equivalency of bow hunting. So you have traditional fishing, which would be more like your rifle hunting or hunting with a firearm. And then if you really want to take it up a notch to where it becomes more of a challenge, more intimate, and I honestly believe a little more rewarding, that's when you get into fly fishing. You learn about moving water. Now, of course, you can fly fish still water as well, but there's just something about understanding the way a river or a stream flows, being able to look at that water, what we call reading the water, and try to dissect it and think, well, there should be a fish here or there should be a fish there, and then making that perfect cast, getting that right float, getting the right drift. And to me, there's just few outdoor opportunities that are as like intimate. And if I always tell people, you know, if God looked down upon me and said, you have 1 day left, what are you going to do? I'd gather my family and try to go fly fishing.
Well, and you talk about reading currents, and it's levels of current too when it comes to fly fishing. Because when you're doing traditional or throwing lures or even a spinner or throwing jigs, those things are so weighted. A lot of times they'll just go to the bottom. But if you're fly fishing with an indicator or something like that, you'll see your flies come blown up off the bottom because of different currents at different levels in that run. And that was the part that I found the most frustrating and fascinating when I started beginning fly fishing, going from being fly curious to full-blown fly, was all the different things. Like, you just kept having to learn. It wasn't you could just cast out there and catch one. It just kept teaching you lessons, and just you have to pay so much attention to everything you're doing, or you're going to spend the whole time pulling your fly out of the tree behind you because it wasn't there a moment ago, but you took 2 steps downstream and did another cast, and now you're stuck again. And yeah, it's been a very, I want to say, enjoyable experience, but at times super frustrating too.
Yeah, you and I kind of passed in the middle of the night on this deal. When we started hanging out 10 years ago, I was pretty much exclusively fly fishing still. I'd come to just love the Ozark rivers, and we started hanging out, and you were like, "What's a fly rod?" And we'd go fishing, and you'd have your little spinning rod, and you'd catch 10 to my 2. And I finally was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going, give me a spinning rod. And then it like kind of became fun again to go spin fishing. And then all of a sudden you started kind of branching off into this fly world. And now here you are doing podcasts wearing Sims gear. And you gave me the excuse to turn back around and start trying to catch up. But, we've built a really good cadre of friends, many of which are associated to Mid-Mo Trout Unlimited, but, Michael Collins, Damon Spurgeon, Mark Van Patten, of course. I had the incredible honor of making that film about Spence Turner, A Life Well Cast. That was, that was a tough thing to do because I had the vision for it. And as you heard Curt say, Spence is just one of those people that everybody wanted to meet. He's a legend amongst fly fishermen. He's not the only person responsible for how good our cold water fisheries are, but he's certainly one of the most influential people in the history of Missouri when it comes to our trout fishing. And he was dying. Like there wasn't any coming back from it. The cancer had won. It was a matter of time. And I approached him about allowing me to make a film about that, about this guy who's going to leave behind an incredible legacy, to know that death is on his doorstep, and to share a little bit of that journey with us. And I was real nervous to ask him about it, and he was all for it. And we had Jim Karpowitz and the documentary group, so we had a really good crew. Took him down to the Current River, put him in the front of my raft, and floated him. He didn't catch a fish all day, but he didn't care at all either. That was a huge takeaway and a huge lesson. We didn't talk very much. I just rode and he just rode, and he looked at this river as if it was his child, and I could feel that the whole time. It was a beautiful experience, and we probably need to put that back towards the front of our face. I don't even know if it's on our Facebook. It's on CFM, the Conservation Federation's YouTube, but it's called Spence Turner, A Life Well Cast. And if you like fishing, if you like Missouri, if you want to learn a little bit about a legend, and you want to see a man share some of the emotions of reckoning with the fact that the door is closing, it's a pretty powerful film. And he died while we were filming it. So Mark Van Patten's in it.
Can you find that on YouTube?
You can, yeah. Mark Van Patten's in it. Ron Kruger, who's also now passed away, is in it. Jim Lowe is in it.
He passed while you guys were editing it, not while you were filming. Like you don't watch the poor guy pass away. He passed away.
No, he didn't die like on camera, but we were still
kind of you made it sound.
We were still filming a little bit of it, and he passed away before the film was done or came out. And he even says, like in the film that it's going to happen to all of us. For me, it's coming sooner than I would hope, but what a life he's lived. And I think it's cool that here he has been gone at least 10 years now, close to 10 years. And we're still talking about him. There's still that legacy for his family to go back and watch, for future Missourians to go back and watch. So there you go. It was a well done production. So proud of it. Now we shared
I never had
it.
a chance to meet him, but the people I know that had, and the people that he mentored some of them are legends too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mark Van Patten means a lot to both me and Shags. Talked to him just this last week, and it hurts him to hear him say that he's, maybe it's time to start thinking about getting closer to a hospital. And, they live on that beautiful farm on the Current River, and He's like, if you know anybody looking for 80 acres and a house on the Kern River, let me know. Because he's thinking about getting closer to medical care, because Regina unfortunately just had a scare. She's doing much better, but yeah, anyways, it's going to happen to all of us, and Spence showed us some grace and how to handle it. So thanks, Spence. Now, when I did show that video at the Gateway Trout Unlimited banquet that year, Chris Wood, the CEO of Trout Unlimited, was the speaker. So it's funny. He goes, I don't know how I'm going to follow this. I mean, people were crying, but of course he did an amazing job. And there's a testament to how good of a CEO he is, and how important he is to Trout Unlimited and trout fishing across the country, because he's still the CEO. And now he is the featured speaker at the Mid-Missouri Trout Unlimited banquet that we're going to talk about today. So that's really exciting that you guys got the top dog coming in. Phenomenal guy, huge conservationist. And, I'm really excited to be there and to see Chris and hopefully catch up after all these years. So how did that come about?
Right now, Jeff Witten is on our is the national secretary, so he and Chris communicate a lot, and he invited Chris to join us, and I believe that's how it came about. So we've had a number of our members go on to be leaders in national roles in Trout Unlimited, and so we're just really pleased to have him come join us.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a couple of different times, but for people that don't make it all the way through, when is the mid? So when we say mid-mo,
our banquet is February 27th. Our doors will open at 5:30. Our tickets are on sale on our website, which is midmotrout.org. And
yep.
Anything else?
And for those that don't know, Mid-Mo, that's Columbia, Missouri. I mean, we're servicing kind of the whole center of the state, but the banquet is in Columbia. The meetings are in Columbia. So anybody in the Columbia region looking to join Trout Unlimited, this would be your local chapter. That's an active chapter. The guys are great about getting together and also doing stream habitat work, going fishing together. There's always a driftless trip. Talk a little bit about the chapter and what it is that you guys enjoy so much about it.
So we have a chapter with maybe 300 members in it. If you join Trout Unlimited, you're assigned to a chapter. There's a number of us that meet monthly. We meet the first Tuesday of every month. And there's a lot of, we get to talk fishing, and sometimes we'll tie flies, and we have presenters come out and tell us what's going on in the state or around the country. We've had people talk to us about the DARE project in the driftless area. And so it's just the opportunity to be together with fellow fly fishers and to attempt to improve the fisheries where trout are found. Some of my favorite places.
This is the 40th anniversary of the chapter.
Oh, really?
It
That's
was
cool.
In 1986, and many of the chartering members are still with us, including Bill Lamberson that you've met.
Bill's been on the podcast before. Bill's a bamboo fly rod maker.
Bill was one of the charter members from 1986.
Very cool.
So it's kind of a nice little birthday celebration for us.
Yeah, this is a sweatshirt from Doug Duran, who is a conservation hero of mine. But I picked this up, and he lives in the driftless, so it's not ours. It's just our turn. But yeah, I picked this up the last time I was in the driftless a few months ago, and what an incredible fishery that is. I mean, I think a lot of people in Missouri think, well, where would I go fly fishing? Well, first of all, right here, there's a lot of rivers that you can fish for trout. You can fly fish for any species. That's another misconception. But we're a short drive to the driftless in the very northeast corner of Iowa, southwest Wisconsin, southeast Minnesota, and there are endless fishing opportunities up there. A lot of small streams, and by small, I mean you can step across them, and they're full of fish. Though it's a beautiful place to go take a trip and do some fly fishing. You guys get up there much?
As a group of us, we've gone up for the last 5 years, I think, 3 times to at least 2 times to the Wisconsin side. We've been to the Iowa side twice, and to the Minnesota side once.
Yeah.
Those of us to meet together, not as a Trout Unlimited trip, but we're mostly friends, all friends, and we get to do these things. We're planning to go back to Wisconsin this year.
We have to put the disclaimer that it's not a Trout Unlimited trip.
Yeah, very clear. It's not a Trout Unlimited trip. But,
it's a group of about.
That's where we know each other from.
We're going to Reedtown. Is it Reedtown, Wisconsin this year, near Viroqua.
So are you guys going to do the banquet at the Stony Brook Inn like you have in the past? Is it the same location?
Yes, it'll be at Stony Creek Inn, as we have most of the previous banquets for many years.
Man, that's going to be an action-packed weekend if you enjoy trout fishing and driftwood outdoors, because Friday we'll be at the banquet up in Columbia, and then Saturday everyone's invited to Big Rock Candy Mountain down on the Current River, because we'll be recording another podcast on Saturday leading into opening day, which would then be Sunday, March 1st.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Now I'm going to go to this banquet. I want to see Chris and all these guys. So leave the banquet and head south. I mean, we'll go from a TU banquet, hanging out with the CEO of Trout Unlimited, down to the Polish Embassy, hang out on Saturday, do the podcast, and then we start our season of fly fishing on Sunday, March 1st, the opener.
And you're all invited to come down to Big Rock, and we'll have a live podcast in their banquet room and dinner and drinks. And it's going to be Mark Van Patten, I believe, is going to be making an appearance once again. It'll be a great weekend of trout fishing, fly fishing, just fishing in Missouri, man. I'm excited. Can't get here fast enough.
So where are you guys at on the trout parks? What's your experience there and feeling about the 4 Missouri trout parks?
I think they're awesome. I don't know, maybe this is the wrong way to put it, but it seems to me it's kind of the gateway drug to a lot of trout fishermen.
Yes.
You go to these trout parks and you get so excited, and then you want a bigger challenge, so you end up doing the drifting in Niagara or fishing the Current. And there's just so many miles of good trout stream there outside the parks, but I don't think most Missourians would understand what we have here if we didn't have the trout parks. So I really appreciate what they do for us.
Curt?
I'm from Northeast Missouri, so there isn't a lot of trout fishing opportunities up there. But that's where I got started, and that's the assumption I make about anybody that's from Missouri. If they're a trout fisherman, that they got started that way. It's not always true, but it's mostly true. And once people start fishing in the park and they enjoy it and they want to explore further, and then they get outside the parks onto some of our spring creeks where we have wild trout, and then they start getting interested in the habitat and the conservation part of it as well.
It's just one more reason why Shags and I get so defensive about the resources here in Missouri. I mean, I grew up in Indiana. We would have killed to have something like the Missouri trout parks in that state. I don't know of anything quite like the trout parks for exactly what you just said, Doug. It is the gateway for so many people into fishing. And we have this incredible partnership between the Department of Conservation and state parks, where the department can go into three state parks, and one, the James Foundation owns Merrimack Park, but you've got 4 parks, 3 of them state parks, where the department is able to stock trout every day into these small rivers, small streams, and people line the banks catching trout on opening day. And a lot of people want to knock it because it's crowded and all the rules of kind of decorum go out the window. But you got to just look at it as just that. It's a celebration of fishing. And you have to recognize that there are like 5,000 or more people across Missouri doing the same thing you're doing today. Now, I don't want shoulder to shoulder fishing on any other day of the year, but that one day when that dude steps into the river 3 feet away from you and casts into the same pool, you just need to go into it with the right attitude. You need to give that dude a high five and say, I hope you're having fun, man. I'm having fun. My daughters go. My wife loves it. It's a family experience. Last year we went to the church right there by Montauk, and the church put on a great breakfast, and you're having fellowship with all these other people that are doing the same thing you are. And it's so wonderful to have that resource. But not only on opening day, it goes from March 1st to October 31st, where you can show up in this controlled environment. There's going to be fish there. People are willing to help you. It's safe. It's awesome. It's such an awesome opportunity for people to learn how to fish, not just fly fishing, but it is an amazing place to learn fly fishing, but just all fishing for that matter.
Oh, we're losing Curt here. He's getting.
That might be Curt's. Hey, Curt, could you hit mute real quick?
He's breaking up. That's him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was his headset.
It was.
Sounds good.
There you go. Now you're back. That sounds a lot better.
That was Doug.
Oh. Well, yeah, on that note as well, like I used to be anti opening day. Like I was like, never. I can't do that. Growing up in the hills of Oregon where I had like streams that I could go fish native cutthroat trout and maybe not see anybody, to go into just being shoulder to shoulder. But after, again, getting convinced by Brandon, like, you got to go down there. This is what it's really about. And when you get there and you take fishing out of it and just take a moment to take a step back and look, that you see generations of families there, all for that. Kids getting out of school if it's on a weekday, to it's a holiday for some. And man, I just imagine myself as being a little kid, ate up with the idea of fishing, and to get out of school each year to go down for an opening day of trout season would be so exciting, because generally in Oregon, the trout openers around Memorial Day weekend, and that was always my birthday weekend. So we would go somewhere special, and generally it was a place that we could float and fish. And that I am now the biggest fan of going down and all the chaos. And sometimes I don't fish, sometimes I do. I just like to be a part of opening day at Montauk State Park every year. I look forward to doing it. I mean, hell, we do a radio show during the weekdays now from there to promote it, because how much I really enjoy it.
It's very much a place where you could have somebody with a bamboo fly rod fishing next to a kid with a Snoopy pole, and they're both there for the same reason, because they love fishing. They just love fishing and they love fish, and it really is a coming together. And for those people that, it's not for you, great, it's not for you. But do you really have to run it down? Like, those are the people that I, again, will clash with, because they're being selfish. Like, this is a great thing that our state has. It's a celebration of fishing, as we said. And then, as the season goes on, especially early in the season, go down to Montauk on a Tuesday towards the end of March, and now you've got the place to yourself. You can really practice your fly fishing, because there's beautiful stream banks where there's no brush behind you. You can work on that back cast. Tip of the cap to all the people that work at those parks. I know Ben Havens at Bennett Springs and a number of them folks. It's really special what you guys provide for us, and I, for one, am very thankful for it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry about that.
So go ahead, finish your thought there, Curt, on the opening day.
I'm sure you guys have been out west and been in a fly shop and saw on the bulletin board the picture. And I remember the first time I saw it was at Durangler's in Colorado, and it says, "Aren't you glad our fishing isn't this crowded?" And it's a picture of Bennett Springs, And I've been in many fly shops. They've all got the same picture posted, It's Bennett Springs opening day, people shoulder to shoulder. It's a very well-known phenomenon.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about the bragging board. So I was going to have to talk about how our 46-year-old, 12-year-old over here on the podcast caught a lunker last year, and he was gonna take it and put it on the bragging board. And I was like, all right, man, that's cool, but what are you gonna do with it after that? Because everybody longtime listeners know that I like to tease Shags about eating brown trout. Well, he doesn't. I'm ruining my own joke. He doesn't eat any trout. So I was like, why are you going to kill that fish, dude, if you don't want it, And so manned up and put it back in the river. So hopefully it's bigger and waiting for you this year. So
yes, and I just went and I released the lunker patch from MDC, so I have that up at the Polish Embassy instead. So
yeah, but what else was fun about that day last year? I mean, last year was great. Joseph Hawkins came down with Rachel. I mean, Lauren, Annabelle. It was just a fun day. You had Trevor. Was Trevor there last year? Or was that the year before?
No, I don't think so. No.
But the highlight of it was these two little kids, and they weren't too little. They're probably 12-ish, two guys. They were catching trout. This is no joke. Over 24 inches. They had a stringer full of them. And trophy. I'm not going to give up their spot, but they had the wherewithal to go where nobody else was going. And they found like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It was amazing. We got some pictures with them. We talked to them. These kids couldn't have been more proud of themselves. They couldn't have been more excited. Their parents were excited for them. Like, those kids are going to fish for the rest of their lives. And they're going to remember that experience that they had. You almost, it's like getting energy blown back into you by all these people around you that love the same thing you do, and for different reasons. Like, not everybody's the same. Some dudes are super bougie wearing Sims like Shags, and some dudes are there in a flannel shirt. It's a great representation of fishing. And to me, like Shags, you usually don't fish, at least not until it's cleared out. I'm there at the whistle. Like, I want to be in the water at the whistle. But yeah, you can take it easy in the morning if you want to and slip in after the crowd dissipates a little, or you can just be there when the horn sounds and mayhem occurs. And
I like being down there, but it's more, I try to do more social media stuff for the Driftwood page and shoot some video and take some pictures. And just last year, it was so phenomenal because, unfortunately, that historic flood that had happened blew so many fish into the park, and then they still stocked it leading up for opening day, that it was just every single cast. So yeah, I just brought a little jigging rod down and threw some marabou jigs and had a blast, and again caught like that 5-pounder rainbow. Joseph Hawkins, shout out, man. That dude Joe is so cool. He was on the other bank fly fishing with his fiance, and I caught that big lunker, and it kind of came up, and he was like, holy smokes, that's a good one. I didn't have a net, so ill prepared, as one does when you catch the biggest fish. You never have the gear you need in that situation. And he came stomping through that river with his little trout net, trying to get that giant fish in it, to where he had to wrestle it and like hold part of it to get it up out of the water. And it was a very fun team up to get that fish landed, and that is a memory I'll have forever. And I just appreciated him, and it was so much fun sharing that with friends. He had his coffee press out there. We'd stop and have some coffee and some breakfast and go back to fishing. It was such a fun time.
You didn't just get him in trouble though, did you? Are they engaged?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm not sure. I should know this.
I thought they were engaged.
Maybe they are.
Congratulations,
but I know that
if they weren't before, they are now.
Right, because
make an honest lady out of her, Joe. She's super sweet.
Well, last year, guys, Shags got married, I got married, and our other buddy Paddle Don got married. So like the three of us got married, and I know Rachel was definitely given Joe a little grief about that. So if he's not engaged, he better hurry up and do it.
Because I thought that's why he was getting grief, is because they are engaged and they just haven't
The
gotten
mall's
married
still
yet.
open. He has time to go to the jewelry store yet today.
There you go. Well, as long as he doesn't
We know
say
he
his,
listens to this religiously, so we'll be getting a text about this time in the podcast.
probably need to give him a warning. Be like, hey, dude, you got 2 weeks until this podcast comes out. Shags said you're engaged. I don't know.
Because I know he's going to be at Big Rock. They're coming back down for the opener again. So Michael Collins, I saw he posted on Big Rock saying they just got their cabin for opening weekend. So it's going to be the crews coming back together.
Well, talking to him about since you and I are completely failed businessmen at this venture, we're talking about bringing Joseph on as the Driftwood Outdoors business development manager, and he's already thrown a few good ones out. He's like, you should, things that you and I have talked about, like, why isn't the mystery bait bucket sponsored? Like, why isn't the gear review sponsored? He goes, Midway Antique Mall's only gotten 320 free advertisements on your guys' podcast. So maybe the Midway Antique Mall would like to be the sponsor of the bait bucket. And I said, dude, this is exactly why I asked you to do this, because how did we not think about that? So maybe after 300 and however many episodes we've done now, talking about the Midway Antique Mall for free, they'll help us out a little.
I feel like this is going to turn into Sunday Conversations. I don't know if you watch that on YouTube, where it's like, you mind if I ask you a new question on our new segment brought to you by Dos Equis or whatever it is that week?
Well, I hope people appreciate that our podcasts have yet to become interrupted in the middle. Speaking of podcasts, man, the Sean Ryan podcast. Now, again, this is going to be a few weeks after this comes out, but the podcast dropped today, a day that makes you kind of want to like not brag about being from Missouri. It's all about this camp down in Branson. Camp, I think it's called Kanakuk or something, but man, it was horrible. It was dark. It's all about, sexual predators and children. Like, I don't know what that camp was the day before that podcast came out, but boy, I would hate to be that camp today, the way that Sean Ryan went at him. And I've just come to love that guy. I mean, he's from Chillicothe, Missouri to begin with. If anybody doesn't know who Sean Ryan is, he's a Navy SEAL, went into the CIA, and I think he might just be the best out there at this point. At least we all have our own opinions, right? But for me, that's my gotta listen to podcast every week.
I'm with you.
She was naming state reps. She was naming state senators that are helping her. Shout out to Mark Habis. He's a longtime lobbyist in Jeff City. She talked about him coming up, and she never even said his last name, but I knew who it was. And he, in a hearing, he's like, you need help. You need a lobby team. And he pro bono has been helping this woman. This woman's brother was one of the molested children at this camp, and he committed suicide. So she's running legislation all over the country. Man, it was just dark. It was unfortunate, but boy, shout out to Sean Ryan and Tim Tebow, because those two guys are leading the charge on this, getting the Epstein files released, all that. So I'm going to join Sean Ryan's Patreon account just because I've become such a huge fan. So doing Missouri proud, Sean. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. People are actually surprised by that. It's like, I thought he's too conservative for you. I was like, you don't know me then if you think that. Like, he's just a man of common sense that asks a lot of difficult questions. So,
well, I'll go ahead and give our haters a soundbite. I said after 1,500 comments, maybe I am a libtard. I don't know. Like, I certainly haven't voted that way for a long time. And Shags, you said, well, I'm a conservative libtard. So maybe we could start our own party, like the conservative libtards. I don't know.
Mid-Missouri. There we go.
Yeah. The only way you can get in is you got to be mad, but you got to be able to spell. Like, if you can spell but are still angry, you're in. So
yeah, welcome to our podcast, guys. We go all over the place. You never know what's going to happen. I always enjoy seeing some of the blank stares.
Can we bring
of
up CWD again?
No, not this week. Not this week. Yeah, what is? It's not even real, Curt. Come on. Oh, geez. So let's go back to fishing before we totally go off the rails here. we've talked about the trout parks and how much we love those. The season kicks off March 1st. We'll be down there doing that. But after that, we'll spread out across the state, get into our favorite places. Now, again, probably of surprise to a lot of people, Missouri has 9 blue ribbon trout streams, and the Department of Conservation has compiled them into what some people call the blue ribbon slam. You have to catch a trout from all of those different rivers and creeks to make it the slam. And one of the hardest ones that we both have done, Shags, I think you've got it done, is Barren Fork.
Yep.
Have you caught a trout out of Barren Fork?
It's called Barren Fork for a reason, isn't it?
It is.
Well, we used to be able to walk there from my cabin. So I've caught a number of trout out of there. There are a couple of holes in that stretch of blue ribbon where there's typically a trout in there. But you're right, Curt. It's tough.
Doug and I fished that together, I think, and we proved the name.
Yeah. Well, you read about some guys going down there on this blue ribbon slam, and it's like, okay, on my 10th trip, I finally caught one, and they put it up, and it's like 2 inches. But I mean, we've caught some nice 12, 14-inch trout out of there.
Dude, I caught a trophy. I wish I would have had my phone on me because no one believes me, but I caught one that was about the size of my foot. So about a 13, 14-inch rainbow out of there, and mind-boggling. Because I thought I had screwed myself because I missed an opportunity. I went to go set the hook. I lost the little one. I was like, God, that was my only chance. I had a chance, and it didn't happen. And then I fished one deep hole over and over and over again with a black woolly bugger, just a Mark Van Patten special, would not give up with that woolly bugger. And finally, I think he probably just got a war of attrition. He probably just got fed up with me standing there for so long and just gave me the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, I do have a very nice trout out of the Barren Fork.
So I'll probably need to rely on you guys here, but let me try to name them all. So we've got Current River, Barren Fork, both Shannon County. Is the North Fork in the blue ribbon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the North Fork is part of the Merrimack in there, or no? No, I don't think so.
Not the Merrimack, no.
So Crane Creek, Spring Creek, the Little Piney. There's one over by St. Louis. I don't know what's that one called?
Blue Spring.
Blue Spring.
Yep. You missed Mill Creek.
Mill Creek, and now one more. There's 3 up there kind of by Rolla. Little Piney, Spring Creek. Is the other one
Crane Creek?
We already said
we
Crane,
did say
right?
Crane Creek.
Did you? Okay.
Oh, what's over by Roaring River? Is that no? It's Roaring River.
It's a Roaring River itself, a blue river.
No, I don't think so. See how many good trout streams there are? We're naming good trout streams that aren't. But Shags is our go-to internet guy here. He's pulling it up, I think. But Current River, Barren Fork, Mill Creek, Spring Creek, Little Piney, Crane Creek, Blue Spring Creek. That leaves 2, right? 1 or 2.
Mill Creek.
I don't know. So that's it, fellas. There's a lot of good, and blue ribbon is the best. I mean, blue ribbon is the top of the heap. Then you got red ribbon and you got white ribbon. So we've got really good trout fishing here in the state.
Oh, the 11 point is the one you're missing.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Barren Fork, Blue Spring, Crane Creek, Current River, the blue ribbon section, 11 point, the Little Piney, Mill Creek, North Fork of the White, and Spring Creek.
There it is. Do either of you guys have it done?
You're aware that Spencer was the one that established all of the trout management areas outside the parks. The trophy, it was different regulation names, but trophy management areas. He's the one that helped establish all of that.
Yes, and Mark Van Patten's grandfather was one of the guys kicking him off of a railroad car into the creeks when he was driving over. He claims. I just love Mark too much to fact check him. I'm just going with like Mark is everything. Mark says.
I got a couple of Van Patten stories too, but probably not for the podcast.
I don't know if you can beat his own stories. My gosh, like if
we've done, episode.
It goes way back. I mean, that was like our 10th episode or something. It goes way back. He's just one of the greatest, man. I love that guy. And That's what's so cool about this conservation community, and why I can take the heat when we have to take the heat, because of how much I respect and love so many people that came up through the department. And I said it in one of the comments. It's not the institution of MDC that Shags and I care so much about. It's the people, our friends that work there, these people that have dedicated themselves to deer research, turkey research, reptile research, birds, native grasses, forestry. It's the whole gamut. And when people just get so pigeonholed into that one thing that they care about and think that nobody else matters, that's when the castle crumbles. Yeah, I'm not getting started. So anyways,
Well, and I like to think of it too as is there more good than bad? Like, you can disagree with some of their decisions. I don't agree with everything the department does, but if you take a step back and look at it, they do so much more good for the state than they could ever do bad. And that's the frustrating part I find with arguing with some people. And yeah, we're talking fishing. There's no reason.
Yeah, we'll stick with fishing. But the last thing I'll say is, like, I mean, how can you look yourself in the face and go online and say that deer hunting is decimated when once again we killed over 300,000 deer? And this morning it was dark out when I was getting to work still, so I leave too early sometimes. So I took a lap around a farm down by Sedalia where I hunt, and a giant buck. I mean, I was videoing him with my phone, 100 yards into a cornfield on the property I can hunt. Like, where was that dude all deer season? I saw probably 30 deer in a 5-mile gravel road drive this morning. It's like, I get it. There are certain areas where things have changed, but overall, like, when you look at the whole picture of what we have here in this state, I just wake up thankful. I'm just thankful that I can go trout fishing today, rabbit hunting tomorrow, and go out and kill a deer any day I want. And that's not because I have some fancy private property. I mean, just basic hunting access. Man, we're just blessed to be in this great state.
Yeah, and if there's something you want to try and you have never done it before, MDC offers first timers to take you out for free. Like, yeah. I did it with Spoonbill. I'd never went snagging before. I did that program. I know my co-host Trevor did the dove hunt, where they take you to a field, and he got the dove hunt. I mean, you buy your license, of course, but you have a mentor there through MDC, which is free. So, I mean, there's so many programs that if you want to get into something with outdoor activity, whether it be bird hunting, fishing, snagging, any of that, there's programs that they'll take you out and do it. They'll teach you how to.
They're taking people gigging right now. Like, that's such a unique experience. And how much fun is that to go out and
they
gig
give
suckers?
Noodling lessons?
Well, unfortunately, noodling, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because I'd never do it, but that is illegal in the state of Missouri.
I think Curt might actually be one of those fake profiles that's been trolling us, Shags.
There was a limited regulation for noodling several years ago. It didn't last very long, but
no, that was a hotbed back in the day. So back to the Blue Ribbon Trout Slam. Have either of you guys completed it? Have you caught a trout out of all those?
Unofficially.
Have you? You've caught one from every one of those?
Unofficially, I didn't submit it, but it was before.
Yeah, but you, that's fine. You've got it. Like, you've done it. You've caught a fish in every one of those waters.
Yeah,
that's impressive, man. Like, I want to do that. I want to get that
bronze.
done.
I have 5 out of the 9.
So I've got 11 Point, North Fork, Current River, Little Piney,
Barren Fork.
Oh, did I say 11? Oh, Barren Fork. So what are the other? There's Blue, Spring, Mill, and Crane. Yeah, I've got 4 left. So I've got 5 too.
Yep, you and I are in the bronze.
That's awesome.
How about you,
never
Doug?
submitted any either, but
I haven't tried yet, and I'm going to have to catch one on the Barren Fork first.
There you go.
I'm going to start there. If I don't catch one on the Barren Fork, there's no point. that is a hard stream.
So Shags and I have contemplated the idea of starting at 12:01 a.m. and trying to complete it in one day.
There was there was somebody, it was Murphy, that wanted to do opening day trout park slam.
That'd be cool.
That would be fun.
But getting all 9 of them in one day, we'd have to have a driver. It'd be like one of those like Amazing Race videos, where we try to go. My fear is if we do it as a team, Shags will catch more than I will because he fishes like a machine. I'll be over there like trying to have some coffee and like maybe having a cigar in between, and Shags will be over there like robot casting, and we'll get done, and I'll maybe have 1 and he'll have 8, and I'll never live it down.
You have to do it like June 20th to get it all done in one day.
Is that the longest day of the year?
Yeah.
Well, we'd be headlamp fishing for sure. Like there's no question. We'd have to start at midnight. I don't know.
I do
dude.
like the idea of it being like an A-team type of thing, having the van, the door slides open to the side, you jump in, you burn out, and then you come sliding in sideways, and the van opens, you jump out, you fish, and it's
be like old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys need to get a helicopter and rope down.
Yeah. Well, that's why we actually support MDC so much, is they usually fly us around in their helicopters.
Yeah.
All that fanciness that we get.
All that CWD money, we just spend it on getting helicoptered into blue ribbon trout streams.
They keep posting about like how we must be getting paid. Like you don't know how much helicopter gas costs.
I am kind of curious to ask you guys about exotic fly fishing trips, because I am so stoked that Brandon and I, with our good friend Brian Ware of Brian Ware Plumbing and our semi-paid pro staff buddy Tim Flanner, are going to Argentina the first week in September to fly fish for golden dorado. So is there anything on your guys' bucket list when it comes to like fly fishing anywhere in the world that you have yet to do, or do you have an exciting story of chasing something in an exotic land?
I bought 2 saltwater fly lines this fall to go to Belize. I haven't been yet though.
What do you
now
want
you
to
got
fish
a reason.
for in Belize?
Permit. Bone fishing permit.
Yeah, I thought I'd salt with a small bonefish.
Well, that's where Morlock goes. He goes to what's the name of that key? It's not. There's a really, dang it.
Yeah, I've got it. There's a really good.
Not Ambergris is like the one that everybody knows. Ambergris Key is kind of the famous one, but there's Palencia. Palencia is where Morlock goes.
Somebody sent me a nice article about doing a DIY trip to Belize, and it's just really doable. 4 days, very affordable.
It is. It's high on my bucket list. I've got some friends that moved there. I've got friends that have moved to Costa Rica and Belize, and they both look very happy. they all look very happy.
They got
What's
sofas?
that?
They got a sofa?
Sofas? I don't know. Well, one of them
lives
at a resort called Rhythmia, and it looks like he lives in the White Lotus. It's pretty incredible. So, what about you, Doug? You done any international fishing?
I haven't done any international fishing travel. Yeah, I mean, I think the stories I've heard of people's wish lists, the Taimen in Mongolia sounds like a real winner.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what's on a list, but
New Zealand is high on the list.
Special. And
I'm gonna go to New Zealand and catch the world record brown trout just so I can say an American has it. So we, but I'm going in March. I'm headed on a European trip. I told both of my daughters when they graduate from college, they can pick a trip anywhere in the world. And my older daughter always finds a way, but anywhere in the world for her turned into 4 anywheres in the world. So we're flying into Germany and then taking a train from Germany into Austria and then doing a day trip over into Slovakia and then ending up in Switzerland and flying home out of Zurich. So I told her she can plan the whole trip. Her and her boyfriend are going to do some pub crawls. So I said, you better figure out some river crawls for me. I want to catch a fish in each one of those countries. To catch a German brown trout in Germany is definitely a bucket list. Mm-hmm. So it looks like in the Alps, there's some beautiful fly fishing opportunities. So I'll be over there fly fishing my way across Europe here in a couple months.
Oh, that'll be so cool.
on the
Come back-
train.
Come back and do a program for us, and
Oh yeah,
tell us about the licensing process.
yeah, I'd love to do. I'd love to do. I'm gonna try to do a podcast, and I don't know who it's gonna be with, but whoever I discover in those countries as my new fly fishing friends. You guys don't know I'm coming, but I'm coming. So,
Oh, that's funny.
well,
We want to move into the mystery bait bucket question.
yeah. And again, though, talk real quick about the banquet. We plugged it at the beginning, but just kind of give a rundown on what people will expect at the banquet.
So we have the doors open at 5:30. There's a silent auction. We have things like gift baskets. I'm not sure how we're going to divide things up, but among the things that we'll auction off will be a Bill Amberson fly rod, a 5-weight bamboo.
Just when I thought it wouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah,
I've wanted a rod of Bills. So
yeah. They've gone well underpriced at times. I don't know how it'll go this time because we're pushing it. But
yeah,
I've seen them go for fair piece of change. I've also seen them go well below their value. So
they're beautiful rods.
They're
well, just to be clear on that, Doug, you just touched on something that is a long time burr in my saddle. Running nonprofits, like everybody, this is a fundraiser. The money goes to cold water conservation. Don't come trying to get a good deal. Set your budget, whatever that may be, and know that you're making a donation to a very, very worthy cause. Like, I'm not coming there to get a Bill Lamberson rod cheaper than I should. Like, I'm willing to spend market value on it, or maybe a little bit more, because I know where the money's going, and I hope other people will come with that same mentality.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that's true. It really is important for us to raise money to do the conservation work, and I would hope that we would get a good price, and so we're promoting it this year. So there's that. We're also going to have some guided fishing trips, and some. Let's see, what am I missing here?
Well, you're going to have
Are we going to do the garage sale, Doug?
Yeah, we're going to have a garage sale. We tried that. I think we started last year, where people bring in lightly used equipment or books, and we'll sell them at a reasonable used price, and we raise some money that way. We usually
Where's dinner coming? Where's dinner coming from?
It's catered by the Stony Creek Inn.
Okay.
I didn't bring the menu, but it's a very nice meal.
It always is.
Our tickets cover the cost of the venue and the meal, and we make our money by the silent auction and the live auction and the garage sale.
And you legitimately have one of the biggest names in trout fishing as the speaker that night, and that's Chris Wood, the CEO of Trout Unlimited. So
Absolutely.
That's a great reason to come. And look, if you like trout fishing, if you like cold water fishing, supporting Trout Unlimited for that reason alone is enough. But without question, Trout Magazine, the magazine that you get as a member of Trout Unlimited, is one of the best, if not the best, fishing magazine out there. I mean, it covers some of the best writers out there, covers trout fishing across the country, but it's more than just fishing. It's conservation and how, when you get to all of our ages, it's not just about taking from the resources, it's about giving back. And I think that magazine highlights. So people may be wondering, okay, so you're going to raise money. Well, what are you going to do with the money? So can you touch on some of the things that as a chapter you guys have done?
So as a chapter, we have in the past helped acquire land for fishing access on Mill Creek. We've planted trees along Spring Creek. We've done some work on the bank just to restore
definitely
the
built
river.
structure, put boulders in the river,
Absolutely,
change the riverbed. So
Brandon, we've done in the past when the opportunity was there, we've done some conservancy projects, including 3 on Mill Creek, and we participated. We raised $100 for the Bohigian tract
Wow.
when that was purchased, and down on Caps Creek, we did a project down there, and I'm trying to remember. I think we raised some money for Bear and Fork as well.
Very cool. And all that goes to the public good. So this is a small group of guys coming together, guys and gals, the metaphorical guys. A lot of women involved in fly fishing too, which is what's so great about it. And that money goes, and that's what I said in the beginning of this podcast. You do things to help people who will never know you were out there in that creek for 2 days rearranging boulders to have better fish habitat and spawning areas and more access to those rivers. I mean, the projects that have been completed down on the North Fork by Trout Unlimited are outstanding. And that it feels good to get to an age where you're doing habitat work, you're making the fishing better, you're making the hunting better for people who will never know it, never appreciate it, but you're doing it. And kudos to you guys for the long time leadership and a very important conservation organization here in Missouri.
So we also were the people that brought the stocking to Bethel Lake in Columbia. So that winter fishing program was initiated by Trout Unlimited with the city of Columbia.
Cool. I have a lot of fun memories of your guys' banquet. The first one I ever went to, I had like an 11-year-old kid win the youth fly rod starter pack, like the LL Bean, I believe it was. And he came up to me and goes, "I want you to start fly fishing," and handed it to me. And I was like, man, I can't take a kid's fly rod. And his dad pulled me aside. He's like, his uncle's an Orbis rep. Trust me, he has plenty. Never use this. Just take it. And that was actually my fly rod for a very long time, trying to teach myself at Cosmo Bethel with this LL Bean starter pack that a 11-year-old gave me at the first Mid-Missouri Trout Unlimited banquet.
Then, I remember that.
Yeah. And then fast forward a couple of years, there was a whole group of us. I think Ryan, Matt, Flanner, and I all bid on the Little Red Arkansas trip with Phil Landry. Phil had shown up and spoke a little bit there about the trip, and we won that. And that was so much fun going down and getting to fish with him on the Little Red in Arkansas early on in my fly fishing career. And yeah, it really motivated me to become more of a fly fisherman. And even this podcast really did, because I mean, Brandon knows this. I started to fly fish just so I wouldn't look like an a-hole on some of these trips we took with people that were fly fishing only guides. So that kind of just kept going and going. And then I'm sure you guys can probably see behind me those 2 beautiful replica mounts of those brown trout I caught on Lake Taneycomo. And after getting into that Hall of Fame, catching that 31-incher on the bottom with traditional gear, throwing big Dwayne Doty jerk baits, I was like, all right, that goal has been accomplished. That's something I want to do in Missouri. And now let's catch a big one on a fly rod. And after that, I've just been pretty much all fly all the time now.
So I'm an American Airlines guy because of Columbia, of course. But you guys, I told you I was busy and I'm forgetting things. And I just realized I'm an hour late checking in for my Southwest flight tomorrow. So it's your fault that I'm at the back of the bus. So I better get a good seat at the banquet. But this is my most proud thing from one of your banquets. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but this was 2016. And this is the Spencer Turner Conservation Award presented to Brandon Butler by the Mid-Missouri chapter of Trout Unlimited 2016. So I don't know if that's an award that you guys are still presenting to anybody, but I sure appreciate it. I think this was the inaugural award upon Spencer's death and the film that I put out for him. But I'm very proud of that, and it hangs here in my office. So thank you for that. And if you guys haven't been continuing that award, you might think about bringing it back.
We actually are going to present a conservation award this year. And we also present an award to our Member of the Year. So those are the 2 awards that we'll be giving.
Awesome.
Good. All right.
Well, guys, we got a little antique bait bucket here. I'm not going to tell you where we got it from because they don't deserve a shout out until they pay for it.
Now we're giving you one last free one, Midway Antique Mall.
And it's a fun way to wrap up the podcast. It's a question submitted by listeners, by fans of the pod, by families sometimes. And if you have a question you want us to all go around and answer, you can submit it by emailing info@driftwoodoutdoors.com. You can also send a direct message on Facebook or Instagram, Driftwood Outdoors, or just leave a comment in the video or on our YouTube channel, Driftwood Outdoors TV. This one comes from Bill Simmons. What's the most peaceful place you've ever been, and where is it?
Well, why don't you just go ahead? We know what you're going to say.
Me?
Was it your mud bath last week? You conservative libtard in the mud bath.
I'm trying to think of the most peaceful place. It would probably have to be back home at Beaver Falls. It was a place that I went and sat and thought and made the decision to come back here to do radio again after my 3-year sabbatical. I mean, I go there every single time I'm home with Savannah. I try to fish it when I'm home. There's just something peaceful and relaxing about seeing that waterfall that's like 5 minutes away from my parents' house. So if there is one place in the world that I would go for a little peace of mind, it would be the Beaver Falls waterfall on Beaver Creek in Claskeneye, Oregon.
Man, I want to say in general, in a tree stand as the sun comes up has historically been just a place is in for me. I'm a little mad right now, so I'm going to back off of that and say I immediately went to a very pivotal moment in my life, which was I was, I believe, 21 years old, and my friend Sean Clancy and I had just finished my junior year at Purdue, and his parents had moved to Thermopolis, Wyoming. And one morning I got up at sunrise and drove into the Wind River reservation and sat in the canyon out on a bluff by myself overlooking the Wind River, which is also the Bighorn River. It's the only river in the United States that is contiguous but has 2 names. So it's the Wind River on the Wind River Indian Reservation. After leaving the reservation, it becomes the Bighorn River. But I sat there on the side of that bluff after Sean and I had gone to Yellowstone and spent a week riding horses in the national forest, and I decided that I was going to move out west. That was it. Like, I refocused everything on moving out west, sitting there on that bluff overlooking the river by myself in the Wind River Indian Reservation. And you know, a lot of good and bad came from that decision, but if it wasn't for that decision, neither of my daughters would be alive. Who knows what my life course would have been, but I made that pivotal decision that morning, and that was a very peaceful, beautiful place on that Indian reservation to do that. So that the Wind River Reservation for me in the canyon.
How about you, Curt?
No, you know, there's so many places. I try to do a backpack trip every summer, and there was one a couple of years ago up in the Wind River Range, actually outside of on the western side. And I won't name the specific spot. These places get pretty popular, but just being up above tree line on an alpine lake, it's just, you know, it's just gorgeous.
How about you, Doug?
I like deserts, and so I was in Utah, southern Utah, on the Grand Staircase, and gee, I can't remember the name of the town, but there was a 3-mile hike into a waterfall, and there were other people there, and you'd occasionally pass somebody along the way, but it was just a beautiful waterfall, and in a place that you just wouldn't expect to find a waterfall, and it was worth the trip. It was very, very relaxing.
That's awesome.
Great.
All right, what's the final thought, the final cast of the pod?
So I'm going to just say, join us. And by us, I mean me and Shags, Doug and Curt, and a bunch of other people at the banquet. We'll be there. but I'd like to turn this over to you two gentlemen to make your elevator pitch for people to buy a ticket and come join us. But if seeing me and Shags ain't enough, these guys are going to tell you why you should come.
And where can people go? Just don't say your website. Like, what is the actual website? And I'll put it in the show notes as well. Sorry, what was that?
Midmotu.org. I did send you guys an email with a PDF that has our little postcard. It has a link on there as well.
Awesome.
So I think coming to see Chris Wood would be a big point, and getting yourself a top-notch fly rod or some of the other equipment, and at the same time contributing to our effort to improve cold water fisheries.
Yeah, hopefully we can talk Chris into.
We always try to make it a little party so everybody enjoys themselves. It's really about getting together and visiting with friends and raising a little bit of money.
Hopefully some little kid gives Shags a rod again. But I also hope
probably needs more
rods has gone up a little bit more now that I would probably pass on an LL Bean starter kit.
Why don't you get me that Bill Lamberson rod over there, kid? But I hope we can get Chris to come on the podcast too. I've respected him for a really long time. I look up to him. I'm a proud life member of TU. So I'm excited to hear him talk, and hopefully we can get him on the podcast too. So.
All right, guys. Appreciate your time. Gear review coming up next. Into the podcast, the beginning of a gear review. Brandon, what are you reviewing for us today?
So we talked a lot about the trout parks early. Our good friend Jim Washabaugh wrote a book called Fishing the Missouri Trout Parks. It's actually the foreword is written by yours truly. So Jim honored me by letting me write the foreword to his book. You can see here, this one's autographed. This is my copy, but this is Bennett Springs State Park, Merrimack Spring Park, Montauk State Park, and Roaring River State Park. And in all seriousness, if you want to learn to be a trout fisherman, if you want to learn to be a fly fisherman, I don't care where you live. It's worth the trip to come to these parks here in Missouri. They're very special. On the back of this book, we mentioned Dave Murphy. Dave said anyone, expert or novice park angler, will find this book a thorough, easy to follow reference upon which to build their trout park success. Even better, the techniques one develops with Jim's array of methods and tools will make you a much better trout fisherman anywhere. And I think that really sums up this book. If you wonder, like, what should I use? What should I expect? What part of the river should I fish? Jim lays it all out for you in this book. They're available on Amazon. They're available at the trout parks. Jim's a phenomenal guy. One of the talkingest guys I know, but we can't get him to come on the podcast. So we're putting the screws to you again, Jim. Everybody wants to hear from you. We love you, and great job on the book, and people should buy it.
I was just going to say that. And yeah, shout out to Jim because he asked for Trevor and I to pose next to the KCMQ truck. So we got our photo next to that in the book too. And I've asked him a bunch of times and he just cracks me up. He's like, I wouldn't have anything to say. I was like, I feel like just like, Jim, I've never heard you stop talking. Like, what do you mean you wouldn't have anything to say?
So, and we mean that with all
best. Yes.
Yeah.
The best possible way, Jim. I love you, man. We need to get you on this podcast. You're a hoot. For my gear review, it's on the top of my mind. Just getting back, I have to give a shout out to Jade Mountain Resort in St. Lucia. The place was mind-bogglingly beautiful. Didn't even feel real. Felt kind of like a fever dream. And I'm so glad we chose this resort. It's got a lot of history. It was an old, was on the site of an old sugarcane plantation in like 1880. So we did one of the jungle bike tours through the jungle, looking at the old ruins of the old plantation. The owners have like 300 acres around this resort on this hillside, and they have all their own farms. It's from farm to table at the resort. They have their own chocolate factory there. I did because Savannah's sober, but we did a rum and chocolate pairing, which was really interesting and delicious. And Brandon had mentioned earlier about us soaking in the volcanic mud hot springs, which was fantastic. I just can't thank them enough. It was not cheap. It was a once in a lifetime trip. I probably would not spend that much money again, but if you have it, it is worth going. I was doing a lot of girl math in my head, making myself feel better about spending that type of coin, but it was a trip of a lifetime. We made so many fond memories, and maybe we'll make it back for like a 10-year anniversary. But shout out Jade Mountain Resort. Absolutely beautiful. Lived up to all the expectations. And I don't know. Let me ask you guys this really quickly. Have you ever had a meal that was so good you were angry at it? Like it just didn't seem fair?
I get angry when they're gone, like that
Well,
last
'cause I
couple
feel like
bites.
that was their menu. We were joking that it was fuck you food. Excuse the language, but you got done with it and you're like, what, man? F you. There's no way it should be that good. And all their fresh seafood, all their steaks, just their whole menu. Savannah and I were laughing so hard and just calling it FU food because it shouldn't have been that good, and it just lived up to the hype. It was, I mean that in the best compliment, Jade Mountain, if you're listening to this podcast, because it was extraordinary and we'll never forget it.
You know what's crazy is after I liked your post, I started getting Jade Mountain ads on my phone.
It's a sign, man. You got to take Lauren.
The interwebs are weird. All right, we'll see you guys at the Mid-Mo Trout Unlimited banquet, February 28th. Is that right?
27th.
Don't
Friday
come.
the 27th.
Don't paddle down us and come late.
No.
February 27th, Stony
Stony
Creek
Creek
Inn, Columbia, Missouri. February 27th. Doors at 5:30. Come, bring your checkbook. Don't buy Bill's rod because I am, and we'll see you there. We'll see you down the trail. We'll see you down the trail.